pleased to welcome you once again to this forum. It's our 8th Stakeholders Forum, which we are doing this year. If you recall, we had another Stakeholders Forum this year, that is in January, where we called you and we discussed the criteria that we are going to use for placement of students to universities and colleges this cycle. By the time you left, you gave us the okay to proceed following that criteria. I'm pleased to inform you that we have worked around the clock, and inside of 90 days, we have been able to process the placement following that criteria. And today, we are here to give you a report of that placement.
Today, we are all universities, and we will receive the children of Kenya in all universities, including what is so-called private universities. There's nothing private about it. We are all universities. My plea to all of us, when these children of Kenya come to us, let us take care of them. The government has agreed to sponsor them.
This year's KUCCPS selection is unique in at least 4 ways. First, I think this is the earliest ever that we are declaring students selected into universities. I have been in the Joint Admissions Board for many years, and also I've seen KUCCPS since it started its work. I think this is the earliest ever that we are having. Secondly, this is the first time that students are being admitted to both public and private universities at the same time. Thirdly, this is also the first time in a long time that all the students who qualified to go to universities are being admitted to university. Fourth, it is also the first time in a long time that universities are not able to exhaust the capacities they declared. KUCCPS, for the short time I've been in there, and I've been making comparisons with what we used to do at the Joint Admissions Board, an institution that myself personally, I was immensely proud of, because JAB never in its entire period, contrary to what Kenyans sometimes thought. It's just that our system is sometimes used to a lot of conspiracies, let me say, and things being hidden. So everybody expects that there is no institution that can do a clean job. JAB always did a very clean job.
We are looking forward to producing standardized training so that regardless of where you are, if you have a diploma in a specific field, either you get it from university or you get it from other TVET institution, in terms of qualification, in terms of competencies, it's going to be the same. And that is where we are heading.
I believe there's been a lot of heat over the last few months. And I think the sector is working on it in the right way. As decided during the KICD meeting, which was chaired by the minister, the joint working group that was formed during that time, I think, has now commenced its work. That team comprises VCs, chancellors, chairman of councils from the sector. So we pray that they'll be able to give a way forward on the quality audit report that was done a few months ago.
The figures, student figures we shall be using for purposes of allocating resources to universities, Kenyan universities, that means public and private, will be based on the proper returns you have given to KUCCPS. KUCCPS will be the basis that we shall use. So as long as the figures that we have available are from KUCCPS, we shall apply them. So if you find that the figures we have are not agreeing with the figures that you gave KUCCPS, then you should know it's KUCCPS, not us. And KUCCPS is doing a very good job in trying to validate the number of students by name. And we hope that that exercise is going to be completed, hopefully, from, as the CS indicated to one of the universities here, we hope to have clean figures by Friday this week.
If there is one institution where there is going to be integrity and nothing else, it is KUCCPS. And I'm happy I have a board, and I also had a board that was committed to that. So every student will be admitted on the basis of set out criteria, which are so clear. And these criteria come from NEC. They come from other organizations that give us criteria for gender-based or criteria, or people coming from marginalized institutions or countries. And so what my colleague Francis said is correct. He was articulating the sentiments of this board. We are happy, and this has been said, that we are making history in very many ways. One of them is that we are releasing results very early. I think this is the first time, it's not I think, I know, we all know that this is the first time we are releasing these results at this particular time. I think every time I've had an opportunity to talk to you, I tell you about Harvard, I tell you about Duke, I tell you about Stanford, I tell you about very many universities that I know of. They are private universities, and they rank among the topmost universities. So you have these wonderful opportunities. It's up to you. We have just heard from Q that ranking will be very important in terms of attracting funds. It's really up to you. The competition is open. And maybe Mabo was addressing the public universities. You have all heard there is competition. When there is competition and they change, there are going to be problems and concerns. It's really up to you. The race is open for everybody, and let us compete in a healthy manner for the good of this country.
I want to say that so far so good. Not many would complain that they can't access, except for the small teething in funding. I call them small teething because once a government starts a project, you can be sure there is goodwill. And I'm promising the private universities today that you've got the goodwill from the CS, from the PS, and above all, from the president, that all students will be treated equally.
We had 35 public universities whom we were placing students to, and 28 private universities and 70 colleges. Why these numbers? Because getting government students is voluntary. You are not compelled to get them. Last year, when we did the selection for private universities separately, we had 29 institutions. You can see this year, there are 28. One of them pulled out. And we have more than 29 institutions as private universities. Even if you only offer a limited number, it is a good thing to spice your institutions with government students. The culture of public students in the private institutions is both changing the private students' attitude to things and also changing the public students' attitude to things. And then you end up with a fairly good cocktail of students who can draw from each other. As all of you are aware, 88,809 candidates scored a mean grade of C+ and above in that exam. The impression that was created when these results were released was that the performance has gone down. And therefore, students who had scored A- and B+ believed this is the time to be able to access courses like medicine, engineering, and so on. To the contrary, when we looked at the cluster weights, it was not very different. And when you now look at the cutoff points that we generated after placing students in all these courses, after getting adequate numbers of students in each of the courses, following merit and the criteria, you realize the cutoff points are not very different from what they were in the previous years. It is therefore interesting to find that a lot of students with the C+ and B- were actually able to get their choices after first revision, while you see quite a number with B+ and A- who did not get their choices. We were able to capture 87,190 degree applicants and 12,369 diploma course applicants. As you are aware, and have said, this is in both public and private universities as well as in the colleges. But colleges, we at the moment are dealing only with public colleges. I must mention that our processes are automated, so when receiving applications from candidates when they are in school or in their centers, we receive them from the schools themselves. So what happened after the first revision? For degree programs, we had about 70,344 applicants, again online, revising their choices or making applications for the first time. Because if you had not applied, in school, you can now apply when the revision is going on for the first time. For diploma courses, again, you can see the attraction, 48,477. One of the things I would like to say about diplomas is we open it up to candidates who did KCSE in the previous years. For diploma colleges, this year we have been able to place a total of 28,261. We have been growing our placement. If you look at 15-16 year, which are the 2014 candidates, we took 67,790. That was public universities only. So every school, once again, can go to their portal. They can be able to log in and see specifically the students that were in that school, the courses that they have been offered, and the institutions they need to go and study. All this accessing through the portal.
I think KUCCPS has brought out a lot of fairness, transparency in the way they carry out their mandate. There is no single year where somebody has complained that somebody was unfairly placed in an institution, a university or college, showing how many students they have admitted, what is the criteria that they use, and this has been a position that they have maintained over the years.
So the system and mechanism put in place by KUCCPS is something that need to be commended and supported so that we see continuous improvement on this. the issue where they have taken a lot of time to talk to students in high schools to be able to realize or to understand career choices and be able to go for careers of their own choice rather than being influenced by other people who may not necessarily have a reason why they do so. And I think part of the increase in uptake of TVET is as a result of the career guidance program that is being put by placement service.